Heading now to Australia, a church organization, the Iglesia ni Cristo, is helping people victims of the recent Cyclone Debbie that hit the northern part of North or NSW and southeast of Queensland. Rhea David, Trish Calderon has this report.
It has been several weeks since Cyclone Debbie has hit the northern part of New South Wales and the southeastern part of Queensland. Since then, devastated towns are still recovering from its damages.
There are still works to be done after the Cyclone Debbie has struck widespread communities, towns and cities across northern part of Australia.
The city of Lismore in New South Wales was greatly affected by the Cyclone Debbie after heavy rains and floods almost swept the towns in Lismore, with swelled rivers recorded at its highest peak. Some debris and rubbish are still yet to be cleaned out from the aftermath of the cyclone.
Well, in the area where we're driving right now, we would be completely underwater. So it was only about 30 centimetres lower than the highest flood, and there's a flood sign there.
I think it peaked about
11.5 metres.
Oh my goodness.
But it was certainly well and truly underwater. All of this area where we are now was totally underwater. Because everybody had to throw away nearly everything they owned if it had been under the water, because the water would be infected with all sorts of dead animals and sewerage and just everything.
And there was thick mud everywhere.
Now, on the 23rd of April, members of the Iglesia ni Cristo Church of Christ unite and participate in the International Aid to Humanity held here in the city of Lismore.
Different organizations have volunteered to help various communities that have been devastated by the recent cyclone.
Our activity today was our Aid for Humanity here in Lismore, because a few weeks ago Cyclone Debbie brought about torrential floods to many of the businesses and residences here. So our intention and our purpose, guided by the administration, is to help our fellow men, especially those that pretty much they lost everything. They're trying to start off anew, and through our help and through our services, they are very thankful for what we were able to do today.
I was very pleased when I discovered they were coming here, because we had such a great need for volunteers to help with the practical work of what was going on at Lismore. Even though it's 3 weeks after the event, there's still a lot of work to be done. I was just pleased that it was a practical solution to a lot of the problems here, and I was very pleased about that. But when I met the people doing the work, the thing that stood out for me was that they're just the sweetest, kindest people I've ever met. No, seriously. And I thought you're a great example to the rest of Lismore about how people can behave. And there were a few organisational hiccups today, and nobody complained or got angry or got upset. They just stayed calm and gracious. So it was a complete pleasure to work with the groups that I was working with. And we're very honoured to have you here, I can tell you.
Oh, look, it's something that's going to help us be successful and recover from this disaster. So you can imagine after a flood goes through, there's a lot of people who are devastated. There's homes and businesses that are just full of mud, and they've been ruined and destroyed. But more importantly, there are people whose hearts have been crushed. You know, that was the hardest thing for me. It was heartbreaking to go to people's homes and see the devastation. So what I see from this is the way the church has lifted our community spirit. They've really come here to town not just to fix our homes, but to fix our hearts, and that's just something that we can't thank them for enough. It's a real blessing.
Some of the volunteers were from Queensland, Sydney and Melbourne, which have travelled 10 to 20 hours just to participate in the International Aid to Humanity. This International Aid to Humanity was not only held here in Australia, but also in different parts of the world, like the recent event held in Zambia, Africa.
I just want to thank all the wonderful volunteers. You've come here from around Australia. You've come here from the many congregations that made such a difference. It's just a blessing for our city. For me personally, it's just a blessing to see God's work in our town. So thank you so much for coming here and making such a difference.
Reporting from Lismore, New South Wales, I am Rhea David.
And I'm Trish Calderon.
And we are one with 25.